Again, I'd like to thank everybody for allowing me to testify today. I'll try to keep this very brief. I have a PhD in medicinal chemistry, and really I've been working personally and managing as a senior manager at various biotech and pharmaceutical companies, research and development efforts in a variety of fields, everything ranging from cancer to infectious disease and vaccines. My testimony today is really based on my family's personal experience, but there's also the underlying issues that you've heard from various speakers today, and you'll see how that's come out with what we've experienced. I have 3 children and a wife. We moved here from San Diego about 12 years ago. I really come from this area, but we had moved on for a short time. On returning, we're avid hikers, and we began to develop symptoms that at first were not severe, but became severe very quickly. There was severe pain in joints, legs, heart, limb tingling, malaise, and so forth and so on. And this began to get worse with time. We saw a variety of physicians, as you've heard. Several of the classes of physicians are up here on the board, including a psychiatrist, because there was no diagnosis, there was never a mention of Lyme, and the only treatment was palliative, basically Tylenol, aspirin, and various anti-inflammatories. And when pushed to try to get a result, eventually the symptoms worsened, especially for my wife and oldest daughter, became neurological. At that point, one of the doctors did do a Lyme test. It was negative. The new diagnosis from that doctor, however, because of the negative Lyme test was, and I will quote him, it's all in your head. So my wife, again, was worst affected. I got a call one night that she was dying, and she was. She was in severe pain. She had neurological effects. Before I got home, she went to the pharmacy to fill another prescription for an anti-inflammatory agent, another Tylenol derivative. And the pharmacist is actually the one who made the connection with Lyme's disease and recommended a physician that would treat. So eventually the entire family was diagnosed and was treated. And over very long periods of time, we've all began to recover. Now, we've had a very interesting experience with insurance companies. We had a PPO with a local health insurer, and we thought with insurance being a PPO, the physician we were seeing was not covered by this insurance agency, that we could submit claims and get some reimbursement. The initial response was, in fact, to avoid payment by all means. Required my place of employment to restore those payments. But the worst part wasn't just that. Shortly after that, we were approached by the insurance company again. This time we were accused of insurance fraud for being treated for Lyme. And this point was driven home when a private investigator came banging on the door, making it very clear that we were doing something illegal. We were bilking the system because we were being treated for Lyme's disease. Fortunately, contacted a state representative here, and he was able to help, and the attack stopped. But this prompted me to go out, being a professional, to talk to friends and colleagues who are MDs. I've been in the industry for a long time and been through the scientific system. And what I found in the state of Pennsylvania is, at least even the friends and colleagues I have, no one will admit they won't test, they won't diagnose, nor will they treat Lyme disease. And when I had the conversation with them, I said, really, what's the issue? The issue was, insurance companies will retaliate if we do anything in that regard. Initially, it'd be financial if it's under part of the some arrangement with the insurance company. That leads to harassment by the insurance company by a variety of means, and eventually attacks and potential loss of the medical license. So they're not going to go there. In fact, they wouldn't even give me their names or come here to testify today. I did contact them. When treatment is provided, at least one doctor told me they can only give 2 weeks of antibiotics. And although the patients are not cured, they have to use the term cured and send the patients on their way. So it's a real problem for physicians in this state. They cannot treat Lyme disease because of the perceived risk of losing their medical license. And this is through economic pressures, not through legal pressures initially. Now, what's the net effect on the patient's state? Very quickly, it's denial of care, and the patients suffer horribly. This disease, as you'll hear from many people here, is a very horrible disease, and it continues to progress. It just doesn't stay static. As the years roll on, there's more and more symptoms. The severity of the symptoms gets to the point where a person becomes disabled, and at that point, the state, whether they like it or not, becomes involved because there's disability involved. In addition to that, many times these patients, because insurance companies won't cover their costs, their medical costs, the medical care then has to be picked up by someone. And again, it ends up at the state then. The worst part is all this can be avoided, as you've heard from everyone here, if the patients are diagnosed early and treated early, and antibiotics are given until the disease is eradicated, which is done for any other infectious disease, pneumonia, you heard of other diseases as well, staph infections, we wouldn't have this problem today. So really, to summarize, the state is paying for insurance companies' failure to provide contractual coverage and care. In fact, they're preventing care in many cases. So, in summary, I support the Bill 272. I hope that everyone does here, and thank you for your time.